All right. As it seems, the quest to find the Harmony replacement on this channel doesn't seem to quite end yet. SofaBaton, thank you so much for sending out the X2. I am really, 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 really excited for this remote. I couldn't be more grateful that YouTube has gotten me to this point where I get to really check out a lot of the different control solutions. And this is another big step of that. When I first even saw this remote got announced, I was really excited. I think SofaBaton has a pretty good idea of what they need to improve on, and this should come with a lot of improvements. What I've kind of learned, and like I said, I'm not going to ramble. I know a lot of the times you guys don't want to see me sit here and talk, so let's get right into it. But while we get into it, what I've learned over the past half year of trying to find the Harmony replacement is what a Harmony replacement means is actually different person to person. For me, for example, the unfolded circle was a Harmony killer for me. The Harmony is no longer in my system. I'm not using it anymore. As we open the box here, we've got our SofaBaton quick start guide. Probably the same stuff, go download the app, add your devices, stuff we've all kind of gone through on this channel already. And here's kind of a more comprehensive guide here. Always appreciate these. You might not always have access to the PDF, so this is awesome work. Then we kind of get to the meat and potatoes here. We've got our remote. This is pretty nice. I'm actually gonna put this to the side for just a second and see what else they gave us in here. And then looks pretty status quo here. We've got again our SofaBaton dock. It looks really similar to the X1, but it says here X2 hub, so I'm guessing probably the brains here have to be a little bit different, maybe more advanced. It seems again they're going with kind of the Harmony style where a lot of the brains happen here on the actual puck itself, and the remote is kind of more just a control surface where it's actually the complete opposite with the unfolded circle. The dock is really just an IR repeater, and the magic happens, the processing happens on the remote. Here are our requisite IR blasters. Again, love that they come with these. We'll see if this has more IP integration to see how it works. Again, more requisite USB A to C. Love that SofaBaton, even from inception, they've always been on USB-C, all their remotes. So really awesome there, not making us fiddle with micro. This is cool. Finally, a dock solution. So previous ones didn't really have a dock. They had USB-C at the bottom. So this is really cool. We'll put that aside right there. And then nothing too interesting here. Looks like kind of like a SIM card adapter. Probably hit a reset button and then a couple USB-A US-based power bricks here. So excellent, cool stuff. I'm gonna again kind of put some of this stuff to the side here. Gonna close up the box. Excellent packaging job as always, SofaBaton. Nice stuff here. We get this styrofoam away, and we'll start bringing in kind of one by one all of our good equipment here. So, all right, IR blasters here, charging dock, and let's see. This looks. I like that. I like that. That's cool, and it fits nice. And all right. Let's start digging. Let's start digging in. This is weighty, man. This is a weighty remote. Gone are the plastic accusations of the X1, X1S. This is hefty, man. It's all seems like it's kind of all metal, pretty much. It's kind of got this like textured on the bottom, kind of like rubber grip. Feels pretty good. Button's got some nice clicky resistance here. Yeah, all right, cool deal. Looks like we've got some instructions here before you activate it by charging, and then charge the remote to wake it up, and then peel off the film. It does have USB-C at the bottom, so you know what, I may be able to just have a USB-A to C cable. Again, just so, you know, for the video purposes, I'm just going to charge it with the cable. I'm not going to put it on the dock just to make it easier for the camera to capture everything here, kind of see what the process is like. And then, like I did with my X1S, I will go and kind of set it up for you on camera as well. Wouldn't expect it to be too different. Let's see. All right, we're going to go ahead and plug this in here. Oh, okay, okay. We see our SofaBaton screen. Progress. So we can see through. Okay. Okay, it actually looks like it came fully charged. If I unplug, does it... Yep. Looks like it actually came fully charged. All right, so it says I am good to peel this protective film. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Wow, a SofaBaton with a touchscreen. That's crazy, man. All right, I'm going to get the rest of this tape off here, too. Is there another? Right, there's another protective layer. So 2 protective layers on the screen. Looks like one on kind of your main buttons as well. All right, and that looks to be it. Wow. It's snappy, guys. Wow. This is, oh man. This is very responsive. Even just flinging around the menus, I think you guys can even see that too, that it is actually very responsive. All right. I think we're going to take a quick break here. I'm going to go ahead and plug this dock in, and we'll go ahead and get started on the mobile app. Let's do it, guys. All right, and really quick before I actually do get started, I wanted to kind of bring in some of the other remotes that were familiar in our space. So this is compared to the X1S that I still have in, and you can see a lot of the face button configuration is the same, which I personally didn't have a problem. Like I said, I think I like the layout of the X1S. So again, I really like that they're kind of going with the, if it's not broke, don't fix it. But again, in terms of like what feels more robust, this obviously feels way better. It's way heavier, way firmer, where this is just really plasticky. And you know, again, this has all the touchscreen stuff, where this has the scroll wheel, which is prone to getting stuck. And you know, as for me, every home theater remote that I've used in the past couple years has been touchscreen. So when I was evaluating the X1S, I found myself tapping a lot. And then bringing in, you know, the Harmony Elite, the one that we're all probably looking to upgrade from. Again, I think these two are a lot. The gap is definitely closed in terms of look. I mean, God, the Harmony just gives you so many dang buttons, man. Like I said, even in my comparison review to the unfolded circle, if you need buttons, man, the Harmony might still be your go-to. And then, of course, you know, we can't talk about it on this channel enough, but the unfolded circle right now is the king. This is the guy to beat. This is my daily driver still. Still getting a kick out of, you know, all my integrations. Again, I got to do an update video. There's actually been quite a bit of progress on this guy since my kind of 90-day review, which I think was a little more on the negative side just based on some of the experiences. But a lot of that has changed. But again, we're not going to really talk about that from the X2. But yeah, I mean, this is it. Again, how fortunate am I to just be able to kind of evaluate a lot of the remotes and really kind of tell you what works. Like I said, I don't think there is a single Harmony killer. I think it really comes down to, what do you do? What do you use in your system? What do you need to get done? What home automation, to what level are you at in that journey? And the answer differs. Again, this is doing everything my Harmony did and in spades at this point. It's become very, very stable, very robust. But I was really liking how responsive this guy is feeling. And so we're going to go plug in the SofaBaton hub here, the X2 hub, and we're going to go jump in the app and we're going to get started. We're going to get this evaluation going. Again, I'm so excited as the journey to try to find out the new harmony doesn't end. And let's get started. Let's do it. All right, so let's go ahead and get this set up. I already have the sync button. I'm gonna go ahead and do a setup new hub. It's already connected. The blue thing is blinking. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to local Bluetooth devices. Here it is. It's gonna go ahead and attempt to find my 2.4 gigahertz network here for hub connection. Okay, cool. All right, accessing cloud account. Awesome. Good news here. So now we have the X2 hub on my desired network. Hub is going OTA upgrade. Please use it in 2 minutes. All right. So I guess we will give that a couple minutes here. All right, 603. Let's see what happens if I connect to it. All right, it says there's another upgrade for it, so let's apply that. All right, and now we are updating our firmware. So it looks like the other one was like some over-the-air upgrade, OTA, and this is now just another firmware update. Typically, that's a good sign. Means, you know, they're pushing the software development side of the house here. So, like seeing that, definitely. All right, I think this is where we get started now. Awesome. Perfect. So let's get this going. We're going to start with our devices. Okay, so we have, again, our control Wi-Fi device only supports Roku, Sonos, and Philips, so that remains the same. Some MQTT messages as triggers to control Home Assistant actions. That would be probably pretty useful to test out if I had a Home Assistant. I don't. And then a virtual device for IP control looks rather complicated. So, as it seems, we are kind of back to the same control method as the X1. We're going to rely on Bluetooth probably for connections to media players, and then we're going to rely on IR for everything else. Pretty reasonable there. That's how a lot of us are connecting devices with, you know, our Harmony Elites. So again, we're talking about what's the Harmony replacement for you. If you are okay with infrared for a lot of your devices, that's fine. You just kind of miss out on that two-way connection again with, you know, the unfolded circle, able to report back playing media and play times and things like that. It seems like at the moment you're not getting that out of the X2, but nonetheless, let's go and set some things up with infrared. So we're going to search in our database, and I think now check this out. We have IR blasters on the remote. My biggest complaint about the X1S was the lack of this. Made it basically unfeasible for me to hit my TV, but looks like we've got it here. So that's going to give us pretty much everything we need. And you know what? Let's actually just start with our Marantz. And I'll do cinema. Hub body. Complete. All right, code library is downloading for my Marantz. All right, so next thing we'll do another device. We will do, again, we'll just do my LG TV. I think I'm just going to pick any of the OLED codes. Yeah, I'm going to do the B1. That seems to be the only B series one that's there, so that's fine. I think I'm just going to do all for this one. Complete. I'm just going to go through that. I need to switch input. Yep, direct input switching is what we've got. Since I do use like, eARC and stuff, so that's fine. I'm just going to go ahead and complete that. All right. Now let's do LG. I want to do UBK, UBK90 DVD and Blu-ray next. Yes, hub for that one too. Complete. And then the only thing's missing is the Apple TV. Which I probably will set that up off camera. Just since, we're not using the Apple TV right now. I got people in the theater room doing stuff. But that should be pretty much the same. All right, so we're going to build a couple activities now. We're going to start. I want to do a watch movie. So my ants, we're going to set to input Blu-ray. Set this to HDMI 2. Yeah, want my audio to be the Marantz. I think that should be fine. No need for that. We're going to do watch Blu-ray. Yep, watch Blu-ray. Awesome. And then we're going to do, man, can I go? Wait, let me name this. Yeah, looks like it's just going to try to import it as LG. So make sure you go out of your way. You name your sources here. So I think that is the Blu-ray, right? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it looks like the LG TV. Perfect. So now we'll add one more. This one we're just going to do the Marantz and the LG. And this will be my Play PS5, which is on my Marantz, it's TV audio. But on my LG, I got the PS5 into HDMI 3. Both are on right now. Yep, Marantz. Everything else LG is good. No need for that. And we will call this Play PS5 Pro. And next, let's see. I guess that's fine. Rather basic. Complete. All right, and then we will do one more. Marantz, same thing. We're going to go to TV audio. This time we're going to do HDMI 4 on my OLED for my Nintendo Switch 2. So same thing here. No need. We'll call this Play Switch 2. Same thing next. And do we have something that looks kind of like a Switch, like a handheld? That looks like a little handheld, unfortunately. All right, so that's fine. We're going to use the other game controller for that one then. That's fine. All right. But we're going to complete that. Perfect. So I have some activities. Now, how do I sync my remote for this now? So settings, pair with the new remote. Okay, the hub is now searching. There we go. Pair new hub. Oh, pairing successful. Wow, that was immediate. Amazing. All right, sync successful too. Oh yeah, let's definitely update the firmware on the remote now that we've got a sync here. They definitely said that was really important. All right, firmware update for the remote. Big progress here. I think I'm just going to go ahead and set up the Apple TV integration after, oh, we got a little downloading. Very, very, very nice, guys. And yeah, man, I'm excited. This was pretty smooth. Nothing too crazy going on here, which I like. And yeah, we'll get the Apple TV set up on this guy, and we'll start rocking and rolling. I'll go set up the little dock guy here too, and we're just gonna begin our evaluation. I'm gonna put the unfolded circle away as much as I can, and we'll go from there. Continue evaluating. All right, so now the remote is restarting. Ooh, that's pretty nice and fancy. I like that. A lot. All right, we're back in activities. No activity. Oh. Ooh, OTA. Look at this. Interesting. That's a real firmware update going on there. Look at that. All right, now, no activities. Okay, all right, another download. Wow, all right. There must be quite a few improvements, bug fixes for me to be getting rapid fired with these updates. But you know what? I'm optimistic. I'm excited to try this out. Now my remote just says installing. Nope. All right. Jumps all the way to 100%. All right. Another SofaBaton. Refresh here. No activities. Okay, we have one device, so it's not quite syncing. Again, this is like the whole back and forth between, do you want your brains in the remote like we have for, the Remote 3, or do you want, a hub and remote based situation here? I don't want to pair a new hub, but I do want to. If I go to my paired remotes here, it says, but I'm missing all my activities and my devices that are configured in the app. So something's up here. Let's just see if I can just restart the remote and force it to sync again. If I just hold the power button on it. Maybe that doesn't do anything. Maybe it really needs to reboot. Okay. I'm actually going to go ahead and remove the remote. I'm going to do pair with the new remote. And then we're going to try to do the same thing here. Pair new hub. Okay. This is the first time we're seeing like a voluntary sync. This might be promising. We had to unsync the remote and resync it. So remember that if you run into this issue. And assuming this even works. We don't know yet. But that is a longer sync than I remember seeing. I am a little bit away from the hub. And it does want to see it close. But Bluetooth is pretty good. I think we're good here. But all right, at this point, I'll let this finish syncing. We'll dig into it. Like I said, I'll get the Apple TV activity set up, and we're going to daily drive this, and I will follow up in a few days. See what we got going on here. And yeah, we will get rocking and rolling on our evaluation. Let's do it. All right, we are back. I have had the X2 in my system for the past few days now, about a week and some change. I took out all the other remotes in my system, or remote. I'm really only using one, and daily drove the SofaBaton. I had my girlfriend also use the SofaBaton the whole time, so it basically was like when I got it installed, this is the remote that's going to be in my theater. Find that's the best way to really go and evaluate it, is making it your main control solution, forcing to live with it and not just kind of cheat and grab the other remote that's already working and configured. So I definitely have some thoughts on this guy now that I've been using it. I'm going to start with some of the cons and then kind of talk about what I liked and then, kind of overall thoughts. Some of the cons, as you guys noticed in the setup video, there's still a very big lack of IP integrations natively. Like, it's just Sonos, it's just Philips Hue. I'm kind of really spoiled on infrared at this point. The benefits, the stability that it brings, the idea that it's kind of like, now it's a whole home control solution. I can be in any room of the house and control my devices because I'm not restricted to Bluetooth or infrared range, things of that nature. I've really turned into kind of an IP control type of guy. That's just kind of where things have been. But overall, infrared works quite well. The other con that I've kind of ran into is there's a little bit of latency when sending commands, navigating up, down, volume, just not quite as snappy as some other solutions. This actually did get fixed really substantially with an update that basically came out while I was evaluating it, and it improved it a lot, but there's still a little bit of improvement to be desired. It's still just a little bit on the delayed side. I found that particularly to be the case when I was using like the Bluetooth keyboard for my Apple TV. That had a little bit of delay to it, just not overall snappy as some of the other remotes that I have access to. But that pretty much kind of ends like what I have problems with. It's actually a very, very short list because I actually have a lot of good things to say about this remote, and we can kind of talk about what I liked. First thing is I love the way the remote feels. It's just got this kind of like nice textured back grippy side. It's got some weight to it. I love, the button placement. Like I said earlier, it's the same as the X1S, but it is just so much better. It feels like kind of a much more premium remote, even maybe more so than the actual Harmony itself. That felt kind of plasticky. This definitely feels a lot better. I love this bright, high resolution screen on the device. Hugely improved from the X1S. There's actually like a user interface that is here and present, where I wouldn't really call what was on the X1S really an interface. It was just kind of like very basic navigation. Navigating the remote feels really nice, really snappy, responsive. You saw a little bit of that in my setup earlier. Like on the remote itself, when it's not issuing commands to other devices, navigation is really, really quick. Switching between activity pages, devices, all of that is so snappy, which means that we have a really good palette of hardware here for the software improvements to kind of come as well. And next thing I really like is the setup with the app. We saw earlier, when it goes to kind of pick an activity, it kind of intuitively knows, all right, well, if there's an AVR device present, it should probably be what controls the volume and mute buttons. If there's a media player or a Blu-ray player, it gives those the navigation. I like that. It just makes it very easy to set up. And, again, for people that really don't want to spend man hours configuring, a remote to control their devices, if you don't really have the time allocation dedicate to that, I think SofaBaton's app, once you've got things set up properly initially, it goes so smoothly. Really appreciative of that as well. And finally, the biggest improvement for me that I really want to call out is the infrared on the actual remote itself. That was a really big game changer for me with it, not being present on the X1S. There's no here. Basically, your IR is scoped out to what your dock can get to. Not the case here, so I was able to, again, control my TV. Every step of my system worked with the SofaBaton X2. If I genuinely had no other remote, this would be serviceable. It would work. It would make me still enjoy using my system, which a bad remote can really make it frustrating to use. This was very stable. And SofaBaton does even make a repeater. I believe it's called the R1, which is like a dedicated IR repeater that you can place really anywhere in the home. So again, while we're still limited to IR, they have gone and, made sure that IR is accessible across the house. They put it in the remote. They've got the R1 there. Really awesome, honestly. All right, so getting to my closing thoughts. I think this is way better than the X1 by a giant margin. If you are using the X1 or the X1S and you feel like This is just almost right there. This is going to be the remote for you, I think, going forward. I think this is going to check a lot of the boxes. I think any of the kind of robustness, range limitations, device limitations of the X1S are solved here. This is really excellent. If you're someone, you don't have a Harmony Elite, you can't find a Harmony Elite, get the X2. This gets my recommendation, certainly. Again, every remote kind of has its own time commitment, price commitment. Of course, that's probably the biggest factor for us. And so something like the Remote 3, you're going to spend more time configuring it. You're also going to spend more money. SofaBaton is offering less on both of those fronts. It's a cheaper remote. It is a less time-consuming remote. Again, you don't get any of the fancy, integration over IP with most devices. But again, that's okay. The biggest thing here is, again, and I've repeated this on my channel, on Youthman's channel, all of these remotes, but particularly SofaBaton in particular, with my communications with them, they are really committed to improving their devices. Unlike Harmony, the SofaBaton is supported hardware. So I hear a lot of people, I don't want to buy used Harmony, it's unsupported. And that's perfectly reasonable. That's the reason why I am trying different remotes as well. I don't really want to be sandboxed into an unsupported ecosystem. SofaBaton is addressing that. They will improve. There's, several updates that came out during my evaluation period. One of them that fixed a really big issue that I was having, and they release updates pretty frequently. And, they've been very forthcoming in their conversations with me, sending me these remotes to evaluate. So, just as a kind of company, I like where they're going. I like what they're doing. I like what they're trying to do for us home theater enthusiasts. And ultimately, I think it's really cool that we have multiple remotes to really pick one. Even a couple from SofaBaton that, I also hear from a lot of you that the X1S does what you guys need it to do, which is awesome. If it works in your system, that's great. I'm excited to hear it because even just a few years ago, it was pretty dry in terms of remotes. And, I just don't want to control my system with a device that I can doom scroll on. I don't want to use my phone. I don't want to use an iPad. That just has never really been for me. Maybe I'm just old school, but I always just loved having a remote. And clearly a lot of you agree because SofaBaton is continuing to, they feel like this is a worthwhile investment for them, which is awesome. The X2 definitely gets my recommendation here. I'll have a link to pick it up in the description. I also believe have a 15% off code as well. I'll put it on the screen down here that you can use as well. Let me know what you're using in your control system. Definitely want to talk about it in the comments. Ask me any questions about really any of the remotes here, but particularly about the SofaBaton X2. And I'm happy to kind of talk to you guys in the comments. And we'll be releasing some more videos soon. Appreciate it. Catch you guys later.